What's up guys, it's Crash. We have a DeltaForce video today and we have to cover kind of the hot topic, the hot conversation that's going around with this game right now. And that is the kernel level anti-cheat. I want to look at some things that I found online about how it works and talk a little bit about is it safe and stuff. And I have to start out with the caveat. I am no anti-cheat expert. I have interviewed an anti-cheat developer on our podcast, but that's about it. So I do not claim to be an expert. This is just me going around the internet and kind of my own musings and things that I've seen and kind of anecdotal evidence with it. But there are a lot of concerns with it. And much to my surprise, the game launched on Steam to mixed reviews. I thought the reviews would be mostly positive, where you have a game that's really well optimized and it almost has two standalone games built into one. You have a complete, fully fleshed out battlefield mode, as well as a really deep extraction mode. We have 5v5 modes coming, console is around the corner, as well as controller support, and all that stuff is coming with a lot of content pushing behind the launch of this game. I fully expected this to be mostly positive reviews, and I went to go through them, and there happens to be a lot of concern about the anti-cheat, and I want to talk about it today, kind of what all it involves and where it stands right now from what I can see online, as well as kind of my opinions on how I'm moving forward. I can't really tell you guys how to behave with it, if it's safe for you or not, but I'm going to talk to you guys about how I feel about it and what I'm doing. And the really cool part about having a YouTube channel like I do is to hear from the comments down below. I love polling the audience to see where you guys stand on this. What are your opinions on it? And how are you guys handling the kernel level anti-cheat going forward? I also want to take a quick second to thank everyone who's been coming by the Twitch streams. They have been popping and so much fun lately playing the extraction shooters. It's been a ton of fun. If you're interested in coming by and saying hi, I would love to have you. I will put the link in the pinned comment down below if you're interested. But so what was happening with this kernel level anti-cheat? So I'm going to kind of talk about some of the claims that I've seen online and talk about those kind of one by one. The first thing I saw was that when you would uninstall the game, sometimes it would not uninstall the ACE or the anti-cheat expert, which is Tencent's fancy anti-cheat. It's their big anti-cheat they've put a ton of development into and money and things like that. What does Tencent not put money into, right? But it's kind of their big claim to fame, kernel level anti-cheat. And it was not uninstalling. That has been shown to be an issue and it has been fixed. So in one of the most recent patches, they did fix that issue where it did not uninstall. But it appears that even though it could have potentially still been on your machine, it was not running. And people are talking about this ACE anti-cheat running when you're not in the game. And that appears to not be the case. I found a source on Reddit user, the Space Face, did queries on the command prompt and did an SC query for ACE base, ACE game, and anti-cheat expert service, and it shows that they're on your machine, but they are in the stopped state and they are not running when you're not in the game. I also tested this myself with it in the game. I did it. It showed the anti-cheat was running when I went in the command prompt as an admin and put in these command lines. And then whenever when I closed the game and redid it, it was not running. So at least on my machine, I can confirm that this is not running whenever you're not playing the game. So there are other kernel level anti-cheats. And the funny part about it is everybody talks about Riot's Vanguard. The funny part about it is that Riot Games is also owned by Tencent. So the thing that everyone is worried about is also in Valorant, and no one really talks about it very much. It's not really a big hot discussion in the Valorant community. A lot of people, at least in my circle, praise Valorant for having a pretty good anti-cheat system. Again, none of them are perfect. So that's kind of one of the things that can be debunked. It's going to be uninstalled now. They fixed that in a patch, as well as it's not running when you're not playing the game. You can check that out in the command prompt if you want to. Now, the other one that people are worried about is it spying on you. I would find that personally hard to believe. Can it be proven that it's not? No. When you play any kind of online game, there are going to be risks. There are risks, and I don't know, why anyone would target anybody else, but there are risks occasionally. There was a bug in Call of Duty where people could kind of find your IP address and track you down and kind of reverse engineer when you were connected to the server. There's always a little bit of an inherent risk when you go online and when you connect to public servers on the internet. But with this, I just don't feel like, and this is my opinion here, I don't feel like it would be advantageous for DeltaForce to do something like this when they're going to be making a lot of money if the game has less cheaters and they can sell these skins. Some of the skins are turned out to be pretty expensive. I'm sure they're going to have take some fees off the top whenever people start exchanging stuff on the player market and stuff like that. So I think it's in their best interest to make a really good game that's free and to continue to do that. Now, could they be getting information and harvesting data to sell it and we would never know? That's a potential. For me personally, I really don't have anything on my gaming machine that would do like any kind of public or personal identifiable information. I don't have anything on here that would compromise me or my identity in really any way. The only thing I guess that could be worried about would be maybe getting into your browser and getting some passwords or stuff like that you use. But there are so many other kernel level anti-cheats that we already use that could do the same thing. And we, kind of don't worry about that. So it's something moving forward that I'm going to be aware of. I will change my passwords frequently. I got a new piece of software that kind of changes those, as well as I think moving forward, I'm going to try to two-factor authentication every single thing I can, and keep that always updating on my phone, kind of with the Google Authenticator is what I've been using there. So DeltaForce itself has been incredibly fun. I have come across one super blatant cheater that has not been banned yet, that shot everybody in the lobby through the map, like just a rage hacker that hasn't been banned yet. So I'm a little bit sad about that, but hopefully they get that stuff sorted out. And it comes down to the discussion that we always have. How much privacy, and everybody falls different on the spectrum, how much privacy are you willing to give up to have a more clean gaming experience? I myself, I'm almost to the point, and I guess it's because I spend a fair amount of time in this space. Like I just look at everything, like just look at everything so I can have a clean, fair game. Holy cow, that's kind of where I get to, and that's probably not the safest way to be, because I feel like people's information, people's identities, real life stuff, bank accounts and things like that are much more important than a video game. So I get the trepidation with installing this game and the kernel level anti-cheat. I would just warn people that there's a potential for hypocrisy there when you're playing other games like Escape from Tarkov that has an anti-cheat that runs when you're not in game. PUBG has an anti-cheat that runs when you're not in game. Valorant has an anti-cheat that runs when you're not in game, kind of overseen by the same Chinese corporation. Call of Duty, Fortnite, Apex, these all, like Arma 3, they all have anti-cheats that are kernel level. Call of Duty's big Ricochet anti-cheat is also kernel level, and that's, Activision has been owned in the past somewhat by Tencent. I believe they're all Microsoft now. But there is all those things to think about, that if you play in the multiplayer first-person shooter space, you're an online, like you're not going to get away from a kernel level anti-cheat at this point. And honestly, at the end of the day that I'm having this discussion out loud, I kind of just wish they worked better. If I was going to put my identity and my data at risk, I wish they would work better, because there's still ways that cheaters get around it. And I think it's just always going to be a thing where it's just a cat and mouse game where cheaters are always a little like one step ahead, because they kind of get to dictate the path that they take to try to get vulnerabilities in the game. And then it's always kind of trying to put out fires when you're the game developer. But anyways, I just wanted to put some of those questions to rest a little bit from what I've seen, and kind of my own little bit of research is that now when you uninstall DeltaForce, the Ace anti-cheat will also be uninstalled, as well as when you're not playing the game, it's not running, and you guys can do some queries on the command prompt and find that out for yourself. And at the end of the day, I can neither prove nor disprove if they are harvesting data for any kind of ad purposes or any other kind of nefarious purposes like that. I just feel like if you have a smartphone, if you're on social media, if you've, kind of scrolled through those terms of service for many social media apps and hit okay, your data is probably already being recorded and sold, for the very least, for ads. So it's just part of being online at this point, sadly enough. And we'll see in the future, and keep a close eye on if anything weird happens. But just I would just recommend, if you're going to play this game like I am, take all those steps to keep your passwords safe, constantly keep them changing, as well as using a two-factor authentication service wherever you can. And I think that's the best thing we can do to kind of protect ourselves. That's in our control. Guys, let me know in the comments how you feel about all this stuff. Let me know what you think of it. I would love to know how you're feeling about the anti-cheat. If you You know, if you're one of those people like me who kind of caught myself worrying about this game when I already have kernel level anti-cheats from tons of other Chinese places on my machine already that I wasn't thinking about, or if you just don't care, or if you're not getting anywhere near it. Guys, thank you so much for watching the video. I would love to see you on the next one.